Okay, so that's about the introduction on using bridge and using images. We'll run through your question answers once I finish my demonstration. So for a while, I will use all the images which I've given you through the images folder from my K drive. Okay, but I'm not going to open it through file, open, and all the business. I'm going to use bridge, which makes your life much more comfortable and easier. So all you do is just click on bridge, which is a link at the top left. That's your bridge. This is the content area where I want to see my images. To do that, you just browse your folder as normal from the left hand side. So I'm just going to go to my computer. Um, my files are in the K drive, so I'm going to access from there. K, web, 1076, Photoshop, and that's the images folder. Okay, this is how you will see your images as well, or once you browse it. If I just go back one stage, that's my images folder. If I don't want to keep doing this browsing again and again, I can put this folder as a favorite and add it here in my favorites panel. Means through one click you can reach to your images folder. Okay, to do that, you simply right click on the folder and you just select add to favorites. Very simple. The moment you do that, you will see that. Okay, so that's it. I'm just going to click on my images folder, and this is where you see your images for your folder. To open images from Bridge, you can just select the image. If you want to see more information about this image, the preview panel is there. You can simply click on it, and you can zoom on to the image as well to see more details within the bridge itself. At the bottom of this preview, you have a metadata which will tell you your image sizes. It will tell you the file size of your image. It will tell you the PPI, which is the resolution. Okay, in terms, it is acronym for pixels per inch, right? It will tell you what color mode it is. Right now, it tells me RGB. So obviously, it's a web image because the color mode says RGB mode. And then any other information. Ideally, this image is created in 24th of April. These are the dimensions. So is a lot more which probably is hidden within that image itself. Now Windows operating system will not tell you all this. So that's where the bridge steps in. Okay, you don't pay additional cost for bridge. If you install Creative Suite, it comes automatic with the Creative Suite. So anyways, that's a bit of a bridge. I'm not gonna go in depth apart from this, as long as you can browse your folder, check the image metadata and preview, and then after this you simply double click on the image you want and it opens it in Photoshop straight away. So I'm just gonna go and pick the image I want. For demonstration purpose, let me just take some image. Let's say London offices. There you go. Straight away, it links up with your Photoshop files. So if you browse even HTML and Flash documents through Bridge, they get open respectively in their softwares. That's quite handy when you work as a designer. Right, now as this image is here, this part of this demonstration is we will see how we can see some of the other information of this image, how we can resize it, how we can change resolutions, and then use it for our web page in a desired documentation sizes. Okay, now for that purpose, let's say I have my website, which is we done in level 1. So I'm simply going to open that. If I have any page, I'm going to quickly check that. Excuse for the speed, I think is a recording on, so it takes slightly bit time. But in this web page, I think I just added this of day 1 of my HTML lesson, and all we have done is display that image within the HTML page. Okay. For example, it will open in a browser now. There you go. So let's say if I want to replace this image from my website with the image which is in my Photoshop right now. Okay. Roughly, as a web designer, you will get these stats. You will know what size is available for your div or a box to insert that image. Okay. Sometimes clients will tell you, I just want a 100 by 100 image for advertising banner. Okay. Or as a designer, your team manager will tell you, can you just quickly create a logo of 100 by 300 size? So you will get sometimes requirements by the client or a team, or most occasions you do it yourself because you're going to work as a graphic as well as web designer. So, but for this example, if I check my browser page, that's my image. And mostly if I just right click and check properties, the image is about 200 pixel wide, 133 pixels in height. So if I want to replace Buckingham Palace with any other image of London, I must resize it through Photoshop to these dimensions and then put back in HTML, right? We just don't download images, or we just don't go and take pictures through our megapixel cameras and put in a website, because that will harm the download speed. Okay. For the example, let's just assume that I've got this image, which is either we have taken by camera or downloaded online. You have to quickly check the resolution of the image and the sizes, widths and heights. Okay. For that, you simply go to the image menu on screen, and there's an image size option. So when you select image size, here you can see in the top section here, it tells you the width and the height of your current document, okay, which is 800 by 533. Obviously not desirable for the website which we're designing, right? What is the resolution factor here? It says 118, but the difference is the pixel dimensions for the image are in pixels. The resolution factor is in terms of pixels per centimeter. Okay, we should match that with the pixels per inch. So if I just scroll down the unit of resolution, then you can see, there you go, it's about 299.72, which is about 300. Means this image was originally meant for print design based on its resolution factor only. Ideally for the website, the standard resolution is 72. So any image in future you're gonna put in a website, it has to be changed for 72 ppi. So in future, quickly open images in Photoshop, check resolution, make sure it is 72 first, and then do rest of the things. Okay. Now I'm just gonna change that value to 72 pixels, and you can see at the same time at the top it removes number of pixels from my width and from my height. Okay, that's because pixels, the resolution will give extra pixels to give extra additional colors and additional quality. So the moment we reduce the resolution, number of pixels are gone. Ideally, what's the width we want? Is it 200, right? Now I'm going to go to the width option. For accessibility, there's a feature where you can hover your mouse on any of the label in Photoshop. Do you see the hand symbol with the two arrows? That's an indication that this label is accessible just by mouse. If I want to change the values, either I can keep my cursor, change it to 200, or I can simply hover the cursor on the label and move it forward backward. Okay. This accessibility feature started from CS4. Anything lower CS4 is not there. Okay. And the legacy continues in all Creative Suite. Flash, Dreamweavers, they all have these features where you can simply change values by dragging your mouse. Okay. Especially if a person is disabled and struggle with keyboard, or partially sighted and not using keyboard, using trackball, for them, software is easy to use this way. Okay, that's the intention behind the software. So I'm gonna keep values 200. Now height is changing automatically here. The reason being, there are a few options at the bottom here, which says scale the styles, which is checked enabled. Constraint proportion, it sounds very heavy word, but constraint means locking, okay? And proportion means keeping the aspect ratio. Means when you normally scale your sizes, if you just change the width, how the image will look? It will look squash because you're only changing the width and not the height. So by meaning of constraint proportion, you change either or, the other option will change appropriately so that the image will not lose the aspect ratio. Okay? Constraint is American word. UK British word is aspect ratio. So sit in guilds, they will give you question that keep the aspect ratio common. In American way, they're meaning constraints. Okay? So we're keeping proportion means ratio equal, and constraint means we are keeping the aspects in width and height equal as per the dimensions. We are resampling its images, so we are keeping the number of pixels as per the resolutions. So by default, I think you should ideally keep these three enabled. Okay. Now, because of these options, you can see I've kept it 200 and the height has automatically changed. Now, this is literally coincidence, right? I didn't design this image to match exact dimension as per the website requirements. In future, this will not happen. So you have to judge your sizes accordingly. Right now, we precisely want it 200 by 133, which luckily we have got it. So we have nothing to do anymore than this. I'm going to keep this as it is, as this is our requirement. And if I'll say OK, there you go. This is the image which has been transformed as per my expectations and desire for my website. Now, based on these sizes, if you want to apply any more additional effects to it, we can use the layers panel, which is either close or open. You just double click on the tab and it will show the contents. Right now, my layers panel, it shows the content of my image in a small thumbnail. It tells me the name of my layer as a background, and there's a little eye icon, which is for the visibility of the layer. Right now, nothing is working, like other options are disabled because their layer is locked. Okay, normally JPEGs are compressed and indexed. They are locked when you open it first time. So what I'm going to do is quickly, just to compare the results, I will create the duplicate layer, okay, and then I will change some bit features of this image so that we can work. To create a duplicate of this, there's a shortcut in Photoshop, okay, called Control J or Command J for Mac users. So you simply press Control key, hit J for Juliet, and you see in the layers panel, you get the duplicate copy of the background layer as it is. And now that layer is not locked, so you can see rest of the menu, which is opacity, fill, everything else has been active straight away. Okay, if you want to use those things, for example, visibility, all you do is click on the eye and it hides the layer. There you go. Show and hide of the layers. Opacity, if you select, let's say I'm hiding the background, so I have only one layer of image. I can click on the opacity, use the slider forward backward, and you can make image look transparent. You can see it shows the preview straight away in the file. So this way there are a lot of options you can play around. That's why we pay for the software. Okay, it gives us a lot of settings, so we can modify our images the way we like. Right. For time being, I'm just going to keep it back to 100. Apart from these settings, there are some other settings under the image menu which you can play with. For example, if you go to image menu, there is an adjustment panel, which is quite handy. Most of the time as a web designer, you're going to use this. Okay, it has a lot of interesting settings to change brightness, contrast of the image, change hue saturations, or simply black and white. So if I want to convert this image from natural colors to plain black and white images, I can simply select black and white. It gives me to control black and white levels of red color, yellow colors and so on. Or you can just keep it default, say OK. Now do you see that? The whole image is black and white. But that's the top layer image. If I hide this layer, and if I keep on the background layer on, you got your natural image anyways. So ideally in Photoshop, as a beginner, you're gonna experiment, that's for sure. So if you're experimenting something, create a duplicate layer, okay? And then try on it, because if something goes wrong, you can always go back to the original layer and start again. So work with duplicates for a while, okay? I'm keeping background layer, sorry, the top layer as black and white, and let's say this is the only effect I want to add. Now the last thing is saving this file in two formats. One is, in future, I may require this image again and all these layers as it is. Okay? For that reason, you should save it as the native format of Photoshop, which is called PSD. Okay? The PSD stands for Photoshop document. Okay? All you do, if you want the PSD file from this image, you simply go to File menu, you click on Save, and it goes to your folder. Okay? It asks you what's the file name you want. The format, it automatically takes it as a native format, which is PSD format. You can select the folder where you want to save this file. I'm just gonna change, instead of images, I'm going back to Photoshop, create a new folder there called Day 1. And London office, whatever. That's the name of the image. Type is PSD, and the destination folder is Day 1. Okay. Try and save it in correct folders. Don't mess around, so that end of the course you'll have 10,000 images in the same folder, and then you'll struggle yourself to understand what's and when you have done this, and which one shall I delete. So organize your folders nicely right from the beginning. Let me save. It keeps this warning on these days, which is maximize compatibility. The checkbox is default click. Keep it click. Because with this option, we can import Photoshop file in Flash or Illustrator along with its layers as it is. In the past, if you import Photoshop file in Flash, it used to compress the layers in one layer. Okay, so it was really hard for graphic designers to work between multiple softwares. But because of compatibility now, it makes your life so easy if you want to cross over between 2 or 3 different softwares. That doesn't add file size as well. So just for safer side, keep it all, say OK. And you can check at the top, it tells me the tab which will tell me the name of my file is londonoffice.psd. The percentage view of the image right now is 66%. I can press Ctrl plus to zoom in. And this is 100% size of the image. You can see that. All the information handy within your tabs. Then it also tells you the other information, which is the mode of the image is RGB. If you are preparing any image for the website, keep it RGB always. Okay. What is the printing color mode? In just one word. For printing, CMYK. I will explain those color modes later on in a bit more detail. But that's it. That's what we do to save the file as a PSD. And last but not the least, I will save this file so that I can use it in my website. That's the final target destination. To do that, we go to the File menu and we select Save for a Web and Devices. Okay? This is called optimizing images. Right? If you go for Save for a Web and Devices, it opens this window of optimization where the first tab at the top shows you the original image, which is a PSD file. Okay? It tells you that your PSD file is 77.9 kilobytes. So it tells you the file size as well. Okay? If you see the next tab, which is the optimized version, it tells that optimized version will be the PNG format, as you can see here. Its file size will be 29 kilobytes, which is almost 1/3 of the original file. And it will take 6 seconds to download this image online if the internet connection speed is 56 kbps. Now, I don't think so any country has that connection anymore. It was a dial-up connection when the internet was connected to telephone wires and all of those business. But this is called simulation, right? You have the settings to change. You can change your modem speed to match your connection speeds. So if I just go there, I can test the download time for this image on 1 Mbps. In UK, most of you have more than 1 MB. So if the average connection is 1 meg, it will take 1 second. Simulation don't show you anything less than 1 second. Otherwise, I think it will take less than that. Okay. But this is PNG. You can change the format to JPG if you want. All you have to do is on the right hand side, you have a lot of presets option. You can drop down and select JPEG. Okay. You can change it and make it GIF. It's a natural image, so it should be ideally JPEG. Its quality is 100%, but you can reduce the quality by this tab. You can move it forward and backward. If you do it 0 quality, you can straight away see there's a pixelation happening in the image. But look at the file size, 8.7 kilobyte. So 1/10 now. Original was 80. This is 8. But we are losing the quality. So as a good designer, your job is to control this quality factor and make it look okay, acceptable level, and the file size is controlled. Now if you want to compare that, the best thing is you should go to the last bit, which is 4up. In 4up, the first window will show you the original PSD file, and other rest of the 3 windows, 2, 3, and 4, they will show you optimized file with a different quality. Okay, for example, this is PSD, 80 kilobytes. Second window is a JPEG with a 80 quality. What is the file size? 18 kilobyte. PSD is 80 kilobyte. Third window is a JPEG. What's the quality? 40 quality, and this is 80 quality. Okay, but with the 80 quality, the image file size is 18 kilobyte, and with the 40, what's the file size? 12. So again, successfully you reduce 2 kilobytes. If you check third window, the quality is now 20, but the file size is only 10. So the quality of the JPEG straight away relates to the file size. But with your eyes, you need to judge which quality value is better, which is matching with the original file size. Okay, so the control is in your hand. You can reduce the quality as I demonstrated earlier. Reduce qualities, try and match your image with the original. If it is acceptable level, stop there, and that will be your final version. Okay, I'm gonna go with this 80 quality for a while. And if I'm happy with this format and the quality of the image, simply click on save. Go to your destination folder, wherever you want to save this image is. 76 Photoshop day 1. Save it. If I can quickly go to my files here. Do I need to show you how to replace images, or you'll be okay? You all know HTML, right? So once that image is there in the day 1 folder, you simply go to this HTML file. Okay, you go to your source codes, and here you change the source of the image to London-Office, which you just freshly baked. in your optimize window. That's all. That's what the whole process of opening image in Photoshop, adding effects to it, changing its resolution and sizes as per your requirements, optimizing it into the desired format, and then using it in the website. All this you're gonna do for every single demonstrations. I will not repeat how to save, optimize, and keep it in your folder in future. This is just one off. And I expect every time I finish and you finish your files, you save them as a PSD as well as you save them as optimized version. Okay, so you can practice it all the time. Let me finish my demonstrations for a while.